Welcome to the Embodiment Podcast. This show is for you if you see the body as more than a brain taxi. It's for people interested in coming home to the body as a holistic aspect of who we are and how we live. Episodes contain practical tips, exercises you can take away, and interviews with specialists from around the world. I'm your host for today, Mark Walsh. So on the show today, Kathleen Booker. Kathleen's like one of my new favourite people in the whole wide world. She's a breathworker. Jedi of Calm is her nickname. You may have heard the episode with Alison. I wanted to interview her myself. So after Alison did, we're getting to know each other. But actually, I kind of want to introduce Kathleen in a slightly different way, which I think speaks to her personality, which is we reached out to her for the Breathwork Day we did a while back as part of the Embodiment Conference. And she was just from the start positive, generous. You know, we got involved in another event very quickly because her vibe was great. She was a great teacher. And so many of the people that come to us, or to me particularly, they want something. And instead, Kathleen was generous and she was giving something. And everyone I know on my team, whether it was Steve or Alison who worked with her, said, I want to work with that lady again. How do we get her involved? And then, you know, we've had this been various crises that happened and we got Kathleen involved and she was generous and she was smart. And it was the energy she was giving. And my whole team are in love with you now, Kathleen. And it's, in the space of a month, you've become one of the team. And that was very quick. And I think that really speaks to the passion you have for your work and your authenticity as a person. So you are super welcome.
Oh, thank you for that. And what you've just shared, I truly and genuinely receive with an open and grateful heart. Thank you. And I have to say to you and your team, thank you for welcoming me in. But that's how you roll. That's how you roll. You know, from the first moment, Mark, that I interacted with you, I was like, okay, this is my BFF. There's a little mini me that is absolutely glued, crazy glued to your right ankle. And the reason for that is the manner in which you are going about supporting, shifting, loving in and on the world. You do it with such compassion, with such an open heart. Yes. We're BFFs forever.
It was very noticeable because people normally approach with criticism or demand, and it just doesn't work that well, you know, because I'm kind of tired and busy and we're a small team at the conference and we're trying to do a big thing. And when someone approaches with your energy, we're just immediately like open arms, come join us at the party, you know, and it was so noticeable.
But that's how you met me. That's, it
works both ways, right?
Yeah, that's how you met me. I mean, truly, the arms were open wide. I even said to Steve, Steve, I'm going to get a new shirt. This is when we were doing the Breathwork Conference. I'm going to get a new shirt for the conference. He's like, okay, I'm going to get a new shirt for the conference. And we go back and forth in emails. And then when the conference happened, I was like, so how do you like my shirt? And he's, oh, yeah. So it is that type of vibe. There is, as I go through life, and right now on my personal plate, which I share quite often, my personal plate is quite full. But as I go through life and as this pandemic and the protests, there's just no time for bullshit.
Right. You're in New York City as well, right? So you're at the heart of a lot of that stuff that's been going on. Yeah. Why don't we, Kathleen, we often start with like people's story, but people may have heard your story on the past episodes. Mm-hmm. So why don't we start with a little practice? Because I've had a crazy fucking day. And it's the end of my day here. You're probably just waking up. I'm at the end of a long day. I'm managing people I have a really good team, but right now everyone's stressed. And after 3 months of COVID, everyone's at the end of their tether. And it's a lot to hold. So can we start with just a little breath work? Because I know that's what you're good at.
Hell yeah. I absolutely love the breath. And I love starting this way because there's so much collective consciousness energy. We've got to clear that stuff out of the way in order to even hear. So as long as everyone is someplace safe, if you are driving, please don't do this right now. If you are operating machinery, just come back to the podcast. But take this time, as Mark is, for himself. Right now, his hat of co-founder of this incredible organization is off and to the side. Take your leader hat off. The S that is on your chest for Superman and Superwoman, just take it off and just allow it to lie at the side. Close your eyes and feel your body just beginning to unwind. The beauty of the breath is that it knows exactly where you need energy and where you need to relax. So trust your breath. Allow your breath to go, to flow right where you need it. The breath that we're going to do is conscious connected breath work. That's connecting your inhale to your exhale and your exhale to your inhale. And Mark, I'm going to offer to you to just relax. Let the breath soften your jaw. Relax your eyes. Let them close. In this right now moment, allow yourself to receive. And if that's present for Mark, then it's present for someone else who's listening. Allow yourself to receive. Any email that comes in, you'll get to. Any text that comes in, you'll get to. Right now, the sun rises and sets between the crack of your teeth. The breath that we're going to do is conscious connected breath work. That's connecting your inhale to your exhale to your inhale. Breathing through your nose, begin to feel with ease the presence of your breath in your body and your body filled with the presence of your breath. And you feel with no effort from you, your shoulders soften. With no effort from you, your belly relaxes. Your inhale flows into your exhale flows into your inhale. And for just a moment, a nanosecond, put your focus in between your eyebrows and then allow your focus to go back into your head about 3 inches. Don't get caught up in the mathematics. Right in between your eyebrows and go back into your head about 3 inches and rest right there. Your inhale flows into your exhale. Your exhale flows into your inhale. And as your breath continues, you feel the mind chatter soften. It may go silent. It may just get quieter. Stay with your breath, resting in between your eyebrows, 3 inches in. Relaxing your mind, relaxing your mind, relaxing your mind. Your inhale flows into your exhale, and your exhale flows into your inhale. Very gently open your mouth, take a breath in. Softly, easily exhale. Softly, easily to allowing your inhale to flow into your exhale. Your exhale flows into your inhale as you rest in between your eyebrows about 3 inches in, and you feel your mind relax. As you breathe, you feel breath-filled peace in your brain. You may even feel your crown, your scalp, feel a little tingly, or it may feel heavy, or your forehead may feel a little tingly or heavy, and it may not. Either way, it's all good. Very gently deepen your inhalations, taking in more oxygen with ease. And on your exhale is complete and easy. And the top of your head feels relaxed. Your mind feels relaxed. Stay with your breath. Your brain feels relaxed. And as your breath continues, you feel the tender touch, the relaxing peace of your breath all along your eyebrows. As you breathe, you feel the relaxing peace of your breath relaxing your eyeballs, relaxing your eyelids, softening your eyelashes, so much so that you can feel the space behind your eyeballs, and your mind relaxes more. Staying with your breath, you feel your breath soften. Your cheek muscles soften. The corners of your mouth soften. Your jaw. Releasing from your jaw any and all collective consciousness energy that is not yours. Deepen your inhales a little bit more, feeling as you breathe your head, your mind relax. Softening your shoulders, the entire length of your arms through and out your fingertips. Stay with your breath. And you feel as your breath continues this breathful, relaxing peace, your rib cage open, relaxed. Your hips, your thigh muscles, knees, calves, and feet. Open your mouth wide. Take a breath in. Sigh. See, feel, imagine, intended to be so. Your next few breaths, see the color yellow, activating our solar plexus. Our place of will, energizing us, energizing us, energizing us. Again, take another nice breath in through the mouth. When you exhale, release all of the collective consciousness energy. Let it go. And gently wiggle your fingers. Wiggle your toes and lovingly open your eyes.
Thank you, Kathleen. I needed that.
Yeah.
What a lovely start. It's a lovely start to an interview after a busy, stressful day. People are pretty up against it right now, huh? Like a lot of my team are really trying their best, but they're pretty burnt out. They're pretty under pressure. Maybe, one of my team hasn't touched someone in 3 months.
Yeah.
It's like people are up against it. What are you seeing out there in New York?
A lot of the same. People are wired. They're fried. It is the unknown, the uncertainty, and the absolute fear. And when you have heads of state who have global platforms that create with their missives divisiveness, fear, it just doesn't sit well. The beautiful thing is that people are hungry. People are hungry for a way to find their way, a way to find the way through, which is why what you do, the Embodiment Conference, is essential because you provide a platform where there are a myriad of different ways for people to unburden themselves. What I find mostly is just the fear and the uncertainty. The beauty of the breath is that it reminds us that even in this pandemic, with all of the crap that is going on, still present is an energy of, how do I put it, creation, an energy of a place for you to rest. And it is essential, Mark, to rest. I don't know how much sleep you're getting, but you have got to rest.
Yeah, it's a weird mixture of wired and exhausted, I'm seeing at the moment. On the one hand, people are adrenal, and they might have been running on adrenaline for a few months now. Because the divisiveness, as you say, it comes in, and then some people are just crashing. Like it's just like exhaustion coming in.
But the energy ebbs and flows. It ebbs and flows. And for myself too, let me just be real. I have moments where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then it's like, woo, all right, I'm going to sit down. I will share with you that last Saturday, I did something that I have not done I don't think I've ever done. I slept for 17 hours.
17 hours. Wow.
17 hours. Wow. I got up, I took a shower, changed my pajamas, and went back to bed and went to sleep. Yeah. So that speaks to the energy, not only the collective consciousness energy, but also the energy that is present that really is creating paradigm shifts within each one of us. For these shifts as they're taking place, we've got to rest. I mean, you're changing stuff in your life that you've had a bazillion, quadrillion years. Of course, you got to take a nap. I wanted with this, while we're taping this, during a Mercury retrograde, I really wanted to release bread during this Mercury retrograde. Well, let me just tell you, that is so not happening. There's a beautiful Italian bakery right near where I'm quarantining. And the people, we're on first name basis. They know to put together my beautiful semolina loaf and then another loaf from my mother. And again, in this energy that we're in, there is the energy that says, okay, Kathleen, that's all right. Have your bread. And to be kind and gentle to myself, or whatever it is that you're doing for yourself, if you're sleeping or not being, quote unquote, as busy or as functional as you want to be, it's okay. It's crucial to rest and to be kind and gentle to yourself.
I just talked to my mentee group. I had a day with my mentees today. They're actually called the Jedis, by the way. That's what they call themselves, the Jedis. I'm an Obi-Wan or something. And I said to them, listen, guys, if your businesses aren't moving forward right now, if you're just surviving, that's okay. Like in the current conditions, it's really okay if you're just getting through the day. And some of them were saying, I'm practicing a lot. I'm doing my breath work. I'm doing my meditation. And you know what? I'm still annoyed with my husband. And I'm like, yeah, but you didn't kill him. You know what I mean? It's like, you're doing okay here. There's this right now that just that surviving may be enough. And I feel like our own humanity being a bit gentle with ourselves around these things, huh?
I'm going to just shift the word surviving, because for me, we were created to thrive, not to survive. There is thriving in this. However, it may not look how we're normally, quote unquote, used to it looking. So the thriving is, as you said, you didn't kill your husband. The thriving is, I took a nap. The thriving is, I'm still getting up and putting 2 hours or 3 hours into my business. And that may be all it is. That may be all you have.
Right. People are giving themselves a hard time for not writing a book or not doing this. And it's like, come on, guys, it's okay. Right now.
I really take, I really don't like it when I hear people say, during this time, you have to be doing this. You have to be doing that. Don't waste your time. Well, hang on a second here. There's nothing that I ever do in my life, step that I take, that is ever wasted. It may not look the way society says it should look. That's a judgment. However, there's absolutely nothing I do that is wasted. Every single breath I take, every single step I take propels me towards where I am going. Nothing is wasted. So, write a book. If you have the energy to write a book, have at it. If you are doing macrame 101 and 102 lessons online, more power to you. If you're sleeping, well done you.
Wonderful. It's like different things for different people right now. I need to sleep 17 hours and I need to work 17 hours. It's okay. And breath work, are there any particular practices you're recommending to a lot of people right now? I feel like I want to make use of your expertise here. So is something you're recommending?
Well, first and foremost, keep it up. Keep breathing, because if you're not, you're a little El Dedo, as I always say. However, do begin to bring awareness to your breath. Just bring awareness. And I offer to bring awareness to your inhale. As you inhale, your inhale is life. If you're not inhaling, you're not on the planet, right? So just pay attention to how you're inhaling. Notice. And don't put a lot of, oh my God, I'm not inhaling long and slow. Oh my God, I'm not inhaling this way. Look, you're inhaling. Good. Start there. And as you notice, just begin to lengthen the inhale just a little bit. And when I say lengthen it, inhale a little bit deeper without engaging your shoulders, without engaging all of your body parts, scrunching up your face. Just let it happen, as if you looked up at a summer sky and you saw a cloud, and the cloud was so beautiful that you just and turned to your friend and said, look at that cloud. So as easy as that. I'm of the school, it doesn't have to be, doesn't have to be hard.
I've been looking at the breathwork practices I do, and I've kind of simplified it a lot of the time. And I've been watching if I've been like pumping a bit hard on some of the more yang practices, because I'm like, if I'm already agitated, do I want to like put more adrenaline in my system? That was a question for me, and I've reduced those a little bit. And being mindful that I might actually have a slightly different biochemistry right now, so the breath work I'm doing might need to adapt to that.
And if we're willing to allow ourselves to get still, even for 30 seconds, your breath will tell you how it needs to flow. If you just allow yourself to get settled. When I did the trauma day with you, there was someone who dropped a note in the chat that said that deep breathing doesn't work for them when they are in an anxious, having an anxiety or panic attack. Mm-hmm. And I wrote back to that individual and I said, start where you are. The mere fact that you're breathing, you're ahead of the game. So give yourself more credit than we normally do. You know, there is this expectation that we have, which is compounded by this pandemic and everything else, that everything has to be perfect. And I have to have it now. And it has to flow this way now. Well, start where you are. Just your willingness to say, and the awareness to say, I might need to do something a little different. I might need a little support. That in and of itself is like a bazillion quadrillion years of learning. Course in Miracles calls it a holy instant, right? Just that awareness opens up so much.
Break from the interview to tell you about our shop and a deal we've got on there, and also about some events that are coming up. So if you go to Embodied Facilitator /shop and use the code podcast 50 is the code, you can get 50% off anything in the shop. And what have we got on there? How to design training, trauma for facilitators, breath work, leadership, resilience, life purpose. There's a bunch of books, there's a bunch of e-courses, mostly for facilitators, trainers, coaches, yogis, different ebooks, but that code will give you 50% out off anything at all there in the shop. So that could save you, let's say, up to £100, which is about $120. So well worth having that code. Go to embodiedfacilitator.com/shop. Also on that website, you will see embodiedfacilitator.com/events-calendar. Just look under events under the main title. You'll see all the stuff we've got coming up for events. We regularly have free online events. If you're interested in embodiment, we have them on coaching, life purpose, marketing, all trauma, all sorts of things. So have a look at the events page. You can see the different one-day events we've got coming up related to the conference and all kinds of other stuff. Okay, so all of that is on embodiedfacilitator.com. And remember that code there. That code is podcast50 if you want 50% off anything. There you go. A good deal. Back to the interview. Some breath workers have really gone into this sort of breath work for the immune system at the moment. I mean, is that something you're interested in? I have some concerns around that, if I'm honest.
Well, your breath is that's why I always say trust your breath. It got you up today. So it knows what the heck it's doing. As it's flowing, it's allowing you to speak, your brain, your muscles to move. So the breath knows what it's doing. And to that point, let me just say this before I answer your question. You want to be mindful of who you're breathing with. You want to be mindful that whomever you are practicing with, they are doing their work. Because breath work has become such a thing now, there's a lot of people popping up. You want to make sure that who you're working with has done their work and they are continuing to do their work, because you can get a little effed up just being totally real.
Super trendy, super fashionable. It's kind of a funny thing.
Well, but you know, if you think about it, breathing has been freaking trendy all the freaking time. It's called life, for God's sake. It's always been popular. Right. Yeah. However, your breath will support your immune system. Absolutely. What I do is conscious connected breath work. And as you allow your breath to flow and you release the tightness and the contraction in our body, releasing adrenaline, allowing the good endorphins to flow, yes, a beautiful byproduct will be a really enhanced immune system. Just like you can have a beautiful byproduct in a breathwork session of a delightful orgasm. So there are many benefits.
Many benefits. Many benefits. Breathing during sex then, Kathleen, like, you know, I noticed, not to my embarrassment as an embodiment teacher, that when I was having sex just a few years ago, I noticed I was really holding my breath a lot. Yeah. And I thought, that's really interesting. I'm an embodiment teacher. I know how to breathe. You know, what's going on? I'm not stressed. I'm not anxious. Like, what's that about?
Well, unbeknownst to us, there's so many layers of crap we have running underneath the surface. So who knows what you heard when you were little? Sex isn't good. What did your parents teach you? Is there a memory stuck in your muscles? A trauma that you don't remember that might come up and cuts our breath off. And, as a society too, I believe that not everybody is like, okay, let's get it on. Let me be free. So when we start to feel good, we cut that sucker right off, right? If you think about it, when you do your classes and you say, start thinking about what you want to have for your life. What do you truly want? If you think about it, Mark, don't a lot of people stop breathing and disengage?
Yeah, I think when people get something, it's like, do I deserve this pleasure? Am I on some level doing something naughty? And then
exactly.
It's like greed, that like, got to get it now kind of feeling. And it's like, of course you can't enjoy something, whether it's food or sex or whatever, if there's that kind of like, kind of tendency. So it's definitely, it's brought a lot of pleasure, but also just more consciousness,
And as you're conscious, as you're aware, like, oh, here it comes. All right. Or even to allow yourself to allow it to come, right? The good feeling, the good feelings to come, to allow yourself, I'm going to use this word and put it in quotes, surrender to yourself enough for the feeling to flow forward. And as your breath begins, and here again, I really do offer to people to focus on your inhale. Get the juiciness of your inhale going, because as you inhale, your exhale will drop automatically. And as your inhale is nice and lengthened, as you are allowing yourself to feel all that is coming forward as you're making love, then the orgasm is heightened. And then when you bring in the cosmos, woo-hoo, that's a whole another level of delightfulness.
Maybe let's go to the other side with this. I mean, we're talking about allowing ourselves to feel.
Yeah.
And right now, there's some heavy things going on in the world, right? You mentioned the president there, for example, right? There's huge tension since the murder of George Floyd. There's COVID. And it's like, you're in New York, you're in the middle of a lot of that stuff. It's like, how do we allow ourselves to feel when there's difficult things happening? There's rage, there's anger, there's fear, there's all these things going on. I mean, it's one thing with sex, but then like now we're going to like the feeling that's around. And I don't want to cut myself off to that feeling. Like people are angry about some real shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to like just numb out or pretend that's not happening. It's like, okay, how do I sit down and how do I feel my discomfort at some of this stuff,
And that's the beauty of the breath. I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't want to sit in the pain. Mm-hmm. However, I do choose to show up. How I show up is not dictated by how the collective consciousness deems I need to show up. What you do is show up every freaking day, Mark. You're a stand for people all over the world. The rage is real. The anger is real. The killings are real. The inequality, the injustice is absolutely real. However, if I sit in that, and I'm speaking about me personally, me, Kathleen Booker, if I sit in that, it's too heavy for me. Right. It's too heavy. I show up by doing my work. I show up by breathing and sharing the breath. I show up in service to the Embodiment Conference. I show up by telling people, you've got to check out the Embodiment Conference. They're supportive. And the breath simultaneously, as all of this is happening, the breath reminds me of my inherent, can't be taken away from me, can't be given away, my peace, the wholeness of me, the perfection of me, even while all this shit is going on. And I'm in it. I'm a Black woman. Absolutely. I'm in it. And my breath reminds me right within is peace. It reminds me I am connected always to the Most High. If that doesn't work for you, substitute whatever name does. When I am connected in my heart with my authentic voice, I can say, hey, what you just said to me is absolutely unacceptable.
It strikes me, Kathleen, that you're good at being aware at these different levels. So we have our personal pain, right? Like I know from past, interviews, you've had some serious stuff in your life, some really deeply hurtful stuff. That's there. And then there's our resourcefulness as well, right? Like I've worked with people that have been through all kinds of abuse like you wouldn't imagine. And it's like you might imagine, but most people couldn't. And then there's real pain there. And yet they're also able to tune into their personal resourcefulness and then what I might call universal resourcefulness. Mm-hmm. And simultaneously, there's the way in which we're different. You're a Black woman, I'm a white guy. We're different. We have different life experiences. There's different backgrounds. There's different groups of people. Our ancestors are different groups of people behind us. And that's important, that difference. And then there's another way in which we're connected and not different. And if we forget about one of these pieces, there's a problem. Because if we forget about the universal, it just becomes tribal. But if we forget about the fact that we do have these different genders and ethnicities, then something is lost, right? Like something is lost.
I'm so glad that you're bringing this up. For me, if yes, you're white, I'm Black, and you've got blood, and you breathe. You're a human being at the end of the day. We are more alike than some would have us know. If I constantly divide myself up, this is me, into I'm this, I'm that, this is me, for me, it creates divisiveness. I don't give a good hoot nanny who you sleep with. I don't care what name is in the label of your shirt. I don't care what you eat. I don't care. You are a human spirit. You are a breathing human spirit. And for me, I feel when we can truly get to that place, that's where equanimity is. That's where that's where the killings, that's where, even, oh my gosh, his name there's so many. I mean, I could pluck so many names of Black men that have been killed, when that will stop. However, in the meantime, as I stand in the solidness of me and do the work from the resilience within me and the people behind me, that's how I create change. That's how people around me remember that they too are whole and love-filled.
I hear that there's a way in which you've been through crap, and I know you have, and you make this stand of I'm whole and I'm not a victim, and I have more in common than every other human being on the planet than I have differences. And there are differences. And that's unusual in this day and age, Kathleen. Not a lot of people aren't saying it like you're saying it.
No, they're not. And what I also want to say very quickly is that within each one of us, every individual knows that place of peace that I spoke about during the breath work is in every individual. That's the place we choose to tap into when we make our choices. Choose to tap into so that we don't pick up a gun, so that we don't kill another human being. That place is within all of us. And the breath reminds us. I come back to the breath because that's what I know, personally and professionally. It gives us that place from which to make that choice that is connected to the higher consciousness. I'm going to say, there'll be someone who doesn't relate to higher consciousness, substitute whatever, but that is within us, and everyone gets to remember it in order for justice to prevail.
It seems like something of that beautiful universal spirit has been lost in this conversation lately. and I don't know if it's because of COVID or because of politics or the divisiveness or the fucking president you guys have. I don't know, but something is.
Wait, don't loop me in that you guys have. Look, I live here. I live in the United States. I did not vote for that individual.
Sure, but you're living in a different reality. I think I would be more. I would have a different attitude around some of the issues were I living in the United States right now, as opposed to the UK. Now, I'm not saying the UK is, our prime minister is pretty crazy too, but it's a different reality, right? This person doesn't speak for me. That's what I hear you saying, right?
No. And I know that the way that I move in the world, the way you move in the world, we're creating ripple effects, which will create the change we want to see, which will empower, enliven people to remember the truth of who they are, to create the equanimity and the justice for all, truly. That's the way I have to move, Mark, because if not, I wouldn't leave my house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the conference, and myself personally appreciate the advice you've been giving us, and you've been, you're an advisor to us now as a paid advisor to the diversity team we have, and I take on board what you say. I listen to your wisdom. I genuinely do, and it's interesting because of how you approach us as much as anything. There's a heart there, and it makes me go, "Let me listen. What's your point of view here, Kathleen?" Like I'm all ears.
And not everybody is going to hear, but at the same time, everybody is fertile soil. I may not be there to see the seed germinate, but everyone is fertile soil. My mother is 96. She marched with Martin Luther King. And I speak with her. I'm like, Mommy, what do you have to say for today? And one of the things that my mother says always is, God is with you. And if God doesn't work for you, substitute whatever does. Spirit is with you. There has to be, I feel, where we tap into that resilience that is within each one of us, that perfection, I put the word perfection in quotes, within each one of us, that encourages us, that gives us the strength to dig deep. And my mom says to me, she's like, we've been here many times before. This isn't the first time, speaking about the protests and the killing of Blacks. This isn't the first time. I said, so do you see any distinction? And she says, I see what you do, Kathleen, creating a change. And this is, she's my mother, but this was a conversation that we were having because my mother has sat in and has watched many of the breathwork sessions that I have. She says, I truly do see where you inspire people to really remember and to empower themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just my mama speaking, okay? This is a woman who is of the world and who has done many things, right? Many things. So she really is aware. And she says how we must speak our truth. And that truly is the breath. The breath gives us the courage, first of all, to find your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Then speak it, because you've got to find it to speak it courageously. And I still sort of struggle and stutter with, how do I get this out in a way that people will understand? I can't take on, say that I'm going to heal the world, but I know that what I do will heal ripple by ripple, person by person.
Wonderful. Well, certainly healing definitely seems to be a part of this, doesn't it? Empowerment's another part, healing's another part of it, and that's definitely our business as embodiment teachers.
And to stand courageously in your truth, to be able to speak it. I'm going to share with you that when I was with your Breathwork conference, I said things that heretofore I hadn't.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that is coming forward for me with this pandemic and the protests, it's my voice.
You're finding
yes, I am speaking up in ways I never have before. ever. And that's my God's honest truth. From my soul, from the depth of my soul, and also saying no, which is such a powerful sentence, right? Whereas before, yeah, okay. No. Really finding my voice professionally and personally.
What are you saying no to? Like, I'm curious about that, Kathleen. Like, what's the pressure there? What's the stand you're taking there?
Let me just be very clear, because I'm always very transparent with you. There was someone who came up to me who wanted to partner because Black is a thing.
Okay, they're like you're trending right now. You're fashionable right now, something like that.
And it just didn't feel good in my spirit. No.
No. Yeah. That's a new position. That's a new position as well, right? This idea of like, I don't know how to put this in a way that's not going to get me in trouble.
Let me say it.
Yeah.
Let me say it.
That's probably safe, Kathleen.
Let me say, you came to me.
Yep.
It was a hell yeah. It was a hell yeah. And the fit was, you, Mark, and we've known each other for a month. You are willing, and not that I took this, it just all happened simultaneously, right? What I have learned of you within this month is you are willing to look at the dark spots within you, and we all have them, myself included, and take action right away. You are willing, what I have witnessed with my eyes in this month, you are willing to turn yourself inside out for the betterment of the greater good. You are willing to look at yourself and say, that's a little effed up here. I need to change this and take action.
Yeah, we've done some hard looking, and it's definitely some investigating what we're doing and some asking around and knowing what advice to take and who's got an interest at heart and who hasn't, and who's just attacking us for opportunity and social point scoring, and who's really trying to do something good in the world. And we're making some hard calls around that, and having Manal on the leadership team now from Saudi Arabia, that gives a whole other perspective. Having you helping Cheryl gives another perspective. And
but you're willing to start with yourself because you're the leader. It's going to trickle down. So it's going to show up in everybody else. You're willing to look at yourself. And so for this other organization, it's a flash in the pan where your organization is about making global changes. Now, is everybody going to be happy? Hell no. Are there going to be people that have something to say? Hell yeah. But and I speak for this for myself, because even with me, am I going to be for everybody? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'll be able to have an energetic flow with those where there's an energetic flow, but it won't be everybody. I'm okay with that because I know that what I'm doing we all hopefully have the same goal, to shift the world.
Kathleen, you made me cry, man. I'm really getting emotional. I don't get emotional very often on these calls, but it's something about being seen. Like, I really feel seen by you. And it's like, you've always got a stage if you want one at the Embodiment Conference. And, we don't fucking do tokenism. We only put people on to speak who are good. Like, I don't say to Steve, hey, Steve, have you got 2 Black women to speak? I'm like, have you got good speakers? That's what I say to Steve. Good people who know their work. And it's a pleasure when someone like you steps up and you know how to challenge me and you know how to be a gift. And I'm emotional. I'm really emotional now. I can't ask a good question anymore.
I will share with you. Yes, Blacks. Blacks. I'm a Black woman. Yes, many times I've been the only one. Never saw it and saw it. Yet never saw it, but yet saw it. However, I'm not the flavor of the day. right? If all lives matter, as a friend of mine did a poster, if all lives matter, and they do, then Black lives matter. Equanimity for everyone. Breathe, and we will remember.
Kathleen, I think we're gonna have to stop there. I'm really like choked up. I love how you speak. I love your heart. I love that you include all these different elements, and your work's great. As I said, I've tuned into you a few times, and I'm sure you'll be back representing us at the conference, and we'll be in staff meetings together as well. So anything you want to close with? Obviously, people should go to your website. You've got corporate work, individual work. You've got stress sessions there. You can work. That's Kathleen Booker, like book as in magazine, like BOOKER.
Kathleen with a K. Yes.
Yeah.
Kathleen with a K. And reach out. Just reach out. I'm open to conversations. I offer a free 30-minute your time chat. Just reach out at KathleenBooker.net, and we'll schedule it. And let me learn all about you, and share with you the power of the breath. This is how world peace begins. I love you, Mark.
I actually love you. You're like my cool New York auntie. And when I'm in New York, I'm totally taking you for lunch. I'm totally taking you for lunch in New York. So this has been beautiful. It's time to say goodbye, though, Kathleen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Some ways to get more, to give back, and to get more involved now. So the biggest request I have would be to share the podcast with your friends, people that you think would really enjoy it. Email it to them, put it on your social media, tell them about it, old school. Really appreciate that. Equally, if you want to support us financially, you can go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Embodiment Podcast and give us $1 an episode. And I'd say they're well worth $1. So that's less than £1 if you're in UK-ish. So please go there. On the embodiedfacilitator.com website is where this is hosted. Most people I think listen to for iTunes. iTunes, we'd certainly appreciate a review. The way iTunes works means that a review means more people will find it. iTunes regards it as more important for searches. So even a couple of sentences review really does help as a little thank you to us. And if you want to go to embodiedfacilitator.com, you can see the actual, links to the sites. There's comments on there. The Facebook group tends to be where people discuss things. So if you go to put in the Embodiment Podcast into Facebook, there's a page which is relatively quiet and a group which does have some discussion on. So I will reply to things personally there. So also on the embodiedfacilitator.com website, there's all sorts of freebies there. There's videos, there's free ebooks, there's ebooks you can buy. And of course, there's our newsletter list. If you want to stay in touch and learn about things like the Embodied Facilitator Course and our next Embodied Yoga Principles teacher training, then go to that website and you'll see a little pop-up and you can get the newsletter through there. Okay, so I think they're the main ones. Tell your friends, pay us some money on Patreon, give us a review on iTunes, send us your email if you want to be on the newsletter list, and get involved on the Facebook there. Bit long. Pick whatever you like that works for you.